Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaRakah, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. All the Akim out there, worldwide, pushing the truth in sincerity. This is Pai Allah from the GMS London camp. And it's a biblical commentary on the book of Mark, the 16th chapter. And it reads, And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came onto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And thinking about the anointing by the sweet spices, it makes me think back to the woman that broke the alabaster to anoint Yahushai, which basically was done before he was led up. Now it was kind of reals in the spirit that he was being anointed with that great spice, those oils of great value, because of what he was about to give up his life as a sacrificial lamb for the nation of Israel. But then, mind you, let's not forget as well that Nicodemus also bought £100 in myrrh and aloes, spices, which is quite a weighty amount to preparing. So that good work went, that it kind of shows you that if all these good works are done of Yahushai, it wasn't fulfilled in that one work that woman done, but many followed afterwards. So it's always good to basically make an offering, a supplication unto him, and not because someone's fulfilled to do so, you say, it's been done, so I ain't gonna bother myself. Charity covers a multitude of sins, basically. So doing a good work is always, something that should be done, all right? So Renan says, and very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, Who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? And when they looked, they saw the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment. And they were affrighted. And they saith unto them, Be not affrighted, ye seek Yahushua of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen, he is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. Alright, and that really shows you, because every time the angels pop up in the scriptures, everyone seems to be affrighted by their sight. Alright, so that whole, it tells you that basically, the heathen sought to laid open the book of the law and sought to, paint the images according to themselves, loosely paraphrasing. So when you see those naked little white babies basically as angels, that's a total fallacy. It's a lie, all right? Every account you find in the word about the angels, men are terrified, women are terrified before them, they bow the knee, and they're terrible in sight. Remember, the strength of one angel is their ability to destroy the whole earth, basically, right? So imagine how much power, the aura, the energy you feel in their presence, okay, that makes these people feel that way, okay? And he saith unto them, Be not affrighted, ye seek Yahushua of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. All right, so he said, look, the place where they laid him, he's not there no more, he's gone. But go your way, tell his disciples and Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him, as he said unto you. All right. So Peter is pinpointed as one of the main people to speak to, and I'm sure Peter must have been the events that occurred before, where he basically said he would die with Yahushua and do X, Y, and Z, and then wind up denying the Lord 3 times before the cock crowed twice. Basically, he would his faith, and he would have been all kind of confused and jacked up in the faith, right? But in that occurring, there's a form of hope for him, right? A redemption that the Lord, you know, he died, but he's risen. And that, you know, whatever the Lord needs to say to him, it'll be, I mean, him seeing the Lord again will bolster his faith, basically. All right. So, reading on, it says, and they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, for they trembled and were amazed. All right. So they were shaken. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. All right. So they weren't even thinking to say nothing to no one. They had their eyes on doing what the angel told them to do. Now, when Yahushua was risen early the first day of the week, right? So this is the day after the Sabbath. He appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. And she went and told them that had been with him, as they mourned and wept. Okay? So, went on to his disciples. And when they had heard that he was alive and had seen of her, believed not. Right? So they lacked faith in that what was presented before them by Mary Magdalene. They said they did whatever, man. They weren't trying to hear it. Okay? After that, he appeared in another form unto 2 of them as they walked and went into the country. So he appeared before another 2, but he wasn't as what they had known him to be before, but he appeared in a different form, right? So in a different body, kind of, transformed himself into a different person as they walked and went into the country. Verse 13, and they went and told it unto the residue, neither believed they them, right? So it's the second time it come with account to basically say like, yo, so, the Lord is here, right? And that should have at least, kind of got you a bit like, yo, and knowing the characteristics of the Lord, they should have, from the first time, they should have really got it. And the amount of times the Lord said to them as well that he'd rise, it shows you that it went over their head, right? The Spirit wasn't with them to see it at the time. After he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them for their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. All right, and this is spiritual. All right, the fact that they did not believe the Lord, all right, after the accounts of the Lord after he is risen. Because as I read on, it's going to get into it, but the account, what the Lord is going to tell them to do is basically to go forth and teach people to believe on him by an account that they bear witness to. They saw these things, they saw and they know of. So they're meant to go forth and bear witness of the things that they saw to people that did not see him, right? And it's going to show that the fact that they didn't believe it, even though they had seen him, showed how much they lacked faith compared to those that had not seen him, but hearing of what he did, had faith and believed, all right? So let me read on, verse 15. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature, all right? So this is the commission that he gave his disciples, in turn making them apostles, because the word apostle means sent away, all right? He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, right? But he that believeth not shall be damned, okay? So that's why Yahushua braided them so heavily, because, hey, if you don't believe, you're condemned, basically. And it's not a light thing to be condemned, because you're condemned unto destruction, all right? As it tells you in Romans the 11th chapter about the table that was meant for their benefit, basically becoming a stumbling block, all right? So reading on, it says, and when let me even backpedal, because it says to every creature, all right? When it says to every creature, he that has ears to hear, let him hear, all right? The only people that are going to hear this gospel belong to those, the place you easily will go to cut this all is Revelations 5 and 9, all right? Where it tells you that the Lord had redeemed us out of all nations, all right? Being the 12 tribes of Israel, because that Revelation 5 and 9 goes hand in hand with Revelation 7 and 9, which basically speaking of that great multitude that was found after the 144,000, right? Basically, along with the 144,000, there's 1/3 of Israel that are basically set aside for election, all right, to be saved in these last days. Okay, so that's why when it says preach gospel to every creature, speaking to those that are scattered abroad, that they now have a place where they can be brought into the faith. And that's why when this basically ends the end of the gospel, but proceeds into the time of Acts. That's why you had the account of Cornelius, all right? Because Cornelius is presented why? To basically show his name being a nomen omen, Cornelius meaning seed, all right? Basically meaning that he's a seed that basically would allow for all those that have been scattered outside of Israel, including the northern kingdom, all right, which had been taken away, going back to the time of the time of the Babylon, after Assyrian to the Babylonian Empire, where they went onto the other side of the globe, basically, right? Americas, basically they are basically being pushed out of the sight of the Lord, but it was time to redeem them back onto Him. Okay, so that's the creatures it's talking about. All right. So verse 17, and these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. All right. So these are the signs that show that the Lord is basically dealing with his men that He's chosen, right? Because He'll basically be able to cast out demons, devils, and basically speak in new tongues, as is shown in the book of Acts, the first chapter, with the spirit of the cloven tongues. Verse 18, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. And this is one of the main things that you kind of holds a lot of weight right now. Not kind of, but definitely holds a lot of weight, being that, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them, right? Because the fact that it's not going to hurt them is we're in the middle of plagues being presented upon the earth. One plague being in the form of COVID-19, right? And that's it. And that shows you that us that's in the faith, all right, it ain't gonna touch us. And I've been around that plague and in very close quarters on numerous occasions with people that have had it, and it's gone out, and a lot of people got it around me, but on various occasions I haven't even got it a lick, all right? And that's down to faith. Verse 18, they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them, and they shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So then after the Lord had spoken unto them, He was received up into heaven, and sat on the right hand of the Most High. And they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them and confirming the word with signs following among. All right. But the main point I want to harp on is this, that He was taken up. All right. I told you that in the book of Acts 1, Revelations 1 as well. In like manner, He's taken up, He shall return, and it talks about Him returning to bring judgment upon the earth. But it says He was received on the right hand and He sat on the right hand of the Lord. All right. Because as He said, it's finished. All right. So when you take a seat, you're at rest, you're at comfort. And that's where He received His glory in the heavens. But He sat on the right hand of the Heavenly Father, waiting to come forth and basically take the kingdom unto Himself on earth.